Before the second half gets underway, fantasy baseball owners are going to be looking for that breakout stud, maybe a guy off the waiver wire, a prospect who gets called up, or maybe somebody who gets flipped to another team and makes a big impact. But what if I told you there are 6 guys who are secretly studs right now and you can get them? Let's start in Pittsburgh, a team that got off to a hot start and has cooled down since. Like a lot of kind of no-name players there. Here's a guy who's been producing all year and you maybe don't realize exactly how productive he's been. Jack Suwinski, outfielder for Pittsburgh. He's up to 19 home runs so far. 73% of those are no doubters. Also 46 RBIs, which is a lot for a team like the Pirates, who aren't really an offensive juggernaut. He's backing that up with an X slugging percentage in 17th overall, and he's 15th in xWOBA, which would be expected, weighted, on base average. Now I get that the batting average can be kind of a drag. He's only hitting .235. But I think the overall package here makes him more appealing than you realize because you focus just on average. Look, he's also scoring runs, got 39 of those. And for a slugger, he's got 7 steals. He's really helping you quite a bit. And the batting average is going to be something that you can, to some extent, overlook. He's going to continue to hit in the heart of that Pittsburgh lineup. And this is a team that will still be at least competitive. Maybe for the first time in a while, they won't be sellers at the deadline. Who knows? Right now, it looks like he's only rostered in less than half of all fantasy leagues. So you can probably just pick him up and put him right in your lineup. Or if you're going to go out and get him on the trade market, you don't have to offer very much. And then another slugging outfielder that maybe you should have got a long time ago, but I think a lot of people still don't realize exactly how much better Marcell Ozuna has gotten this year. The first month of the season, he was just horrible, just outright terrible. He was hitting under 100, had 2 home runs, and they were both solo shots. So it was the only 2 RBIs he had in all of April. Since then, he's looking like really vintage Ozuna, best he has since he was back with the Marlins at his true breakout season. He hit .297 in May, hit .321 in June, and he's up to .318 so far in July. And with that has come the power. 17 home runs since May started, giving him 19 on the season. Like I said, not just power here, but his batting average has been really good lately. And his expected batting average, even on the season, shows that he should be 8 points higher. Playing in Atlanta, he's going to continue to get RBI opportunities. This is a player who is going to legitimately be a 30 home run guy by the end of the season, driving a ton of runs. So if anybody just hasn't noticed how hot he's been, it might be time to take advantage. Now let me throw out a young pitcher for you. Tanner Bibby in Cleveland. Like a lot of young pitchers, kind of mixed results. You might just not be sure what to expect from him going forward. Good, not great numbers, but if you look a little deeper, he's been really effective lately. His most recent start, he went 5 innings, gave up 1 run on 3 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. That's fine. It's not going to get anybody too excited. But what that means is now over the last 3 starts, he's only allowed a total of 2 runs. And without even being dominant this past outing, he's got 26 strikeouts over the last 4 starts. The difference is his slider has changed a little bit. Props to Mike Kurland, who I've worked with before, in pointing this out. He posted this on Twitter. Getting a little bit more force behind that slider and worrying less about the movement so he can locate it better. It's working. He's getting more Ks, and he's going to stick in this rotation long term. He's been really effective, like I said. I'm not too worried. He's been really solid most of his starts. He had 2 blips on the radar, but for a young pitcher who's just in his first taste of the majors, that's actually pretty good. If you're looking for a veteran pitcher, you might be able to acquire at the trade deadline who's kind of going under the radar, in my opinion. Look to Zach Eflin, who's in Tampa Bay this year. Eflin was in Philadelphia for several years. He's always been a guy that showed those flashes of extreme talent, but never really put it together over a full season, mainly because he just has not stayed healthy. Only pitched a total of 180 innings over the last 2 seasons combined. So, of course, he goes to Tampa Bay and looks like an ace, basically. His ERA is currently a career best 3.24. He's got 9 wins, striking out over a batter per inning, and his walk rate, which has always been really good, is ridiculously good, 97th percentile. He's never had a walk rate above even 7%, but the last 3 seasons he's been among the top 10 percentile in walk rate. I'm always going to go for a pitcher that shows that command of the strike zone consistently, and he's getting Ks too. He's done a great job using that sinker to induce ground balls, get that soft contact, and so with a team like Tampa, as long as he stays healthy, this guy's going to continue to look like maybe SP2, caliber in fantasy, meaning top 25. I know he's not going to be available in any fantasy leagues on the waiver wire, but I think he's really being undervalued. Nobody's viewing him as that type of a pitcher. So I would gladly flip a kind of underachieving guy who's, getting by on name value only, like a Yu Darvish or a Max Scherzer, and I would take Eflin instead. And I'll keep advocating to have relief pitchers on your staff, even if they're not closers, because sometimes saves aren't the only thing that matter. How about preserving your ratios and still getting high strikeout rates? Look, it would be great if one day Adbert Alzolay in Chicago just became that closer and get you 30 plus saves. But even so, I'm going to add him wherever he's available. Look, I know StatCast isn't the only thing that matters, but let's face it, it's the best and most reliable source of data we can have to determine how a player is performing. Well, StatCast says he's been pretty dominant. You see all the red there, but look at the fact that among all qualified pitchers, a 231 xWOBA is sixth best. 4.2% walk rate is impeccable. An expected batting average against of 198. He does have 5 saves on the year and will be used occasionally in late inning opportunities. Michael Fulmer just had another rough outing late, gave up a loss. He's 0-5 in the season. I think he's out of the mix. But regardless, again, Alzolay, a guy you just want in your lineup on a daily basis. He's going to continue to help you in several ways. And then with all the young talent, all Baltimore, every week they're calling up another top prospect. Recently it was Colton Cowser. You figure he's going to be in there every day. It might be surprising to find out that there's a guy who's 29 years old and is out of nowhere having his best season. That's Ryan O'Hearn, former cast-off of the Kansas City Royals. He just had a 3-hit day with 4 RBIs, bringing his season average up to 308. Right now, he's a strong side platoon play, but man, if he keeps hitting like this, he'll be in that lineup more often than not, and he's producing 7 home runs so far, and what he's doing is legit. Right now, he's got the 8th highest hard hit percentage among all major leaguers. That's tied with Matt Olson. And somehow he's barely rostered across any fantasy leagues, only 8% owned. That means nobody is on him at all. This is an easy ad. Pick him up, plug him in at your corner infield spot, get you some power and batting average. And look, this Baltimore offense, if these young players continue to play the way they are, he'll actually score some runs and drive in some runs as well. Those guys have all been surprisingly good so far this season. These guys, not so much. These have been the top 5 busts of the first half.